is S&Box, the game engine and game publishing platform created by FacePunch, known for games such as Rust and Garry's Mod. It officially launched on 28 April 2026. The S&Box Game Engine is built on Source 2 and the latest C#. The goal is to create games quicker and easier and then publish these games via the S&Box Steam game publishing platform where thousands of S&Box gamers can find and play your games. Think Roblox and Fortnite creative. In addition, S&Box game developers can earn from a play fund when players play their game. Hi there, Belastrah here. Welcome to the next devlog in my game development series for 2026. In devlog 0, I introduce you to this challenge and the reasons why I'm creating 3 games in 2 different game engines as an aspiring full-time solo game developer with only part-time availability. So if you missed that devlog, find a link in the description below to know more about my 3 games with 2 game engines challenge for 2026. On day 1 of learning S&Box Game Engine, I do a quick search on YouTube for S&Box Game Editor tutorials. And I tried several, but I find eventually that Sand King's tutorials are the easiest for me to learn from. So we fire up S&Box. I download Testbed, which is a sample project from the S&Box GitHub repository, and we dive right in. On launch, there is a quick orientation, which is very helpful. So I spent some time to go over the different areas of the editor, but I do struggle quite a bit to get the editor into full screen mode. Eventually, I find where to click and manage to pull the editor into the screen. I feel very disoriented at first, and scenes are something that I'm not used to, coming from UFN and so on. So I revert back to the Sand King Lesson 1 tutorial, which helps quite a lot. In this lesson, we load up Testbed, which is the test map. So I follow his instructions, and upon launch, we press the play button. And I must say, I'm immediately impressed by looking at the UI system. If you come from UFN, you will know what I mean by this. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. So, oh no, yeah, I do get a problem that my editor keeps failing. So it did that 2 or 3 times, but I managed to fire it up again and continue the lessons throughout the day. We check out another test scene where I get my first look at the S&Box character controller. But what are those things hanging there? That's interesting. Okay. In another test scene, I get my first look at all these interesting stuff they have. For example, these are steps. Yeah, I'm stepping, that's for sure. Very cool. Physics is built in, which is very, very nice because then you don't have to worry about it. I guess you still do, but does this work? Seesaw. Does it work? It's going. That's cool. Okay. That's very cool. Yeah, these are working. Okay, so for the next hour or so, I play around in this test because there's so many stuff that is working out of the box, and I'm really impressed because you can just grab the code from here and almost start implementing this into your game right away. Okay, I got stuck, so I exit and just try it again. So this scene is called Platforms, and go and try it out. It's very cool. I can already see like my color switch games and stuff like this that I made in UFN working with those. So yeah. All right, so we exit from that test, and for the first time I start implementing C# code. Yeah, I am not at all familiar with code. I also create my first game, albeit a test game. This is in order to follow the Sand King tutorials where we learn how to navigate with the camera. You know, the usual stuff when you're learning a game engine for the first time. We pan around, we check around. I like how it looks at the moment. I'm just confused what hierarchy is on the left and inspector on the right, and we still have an asset browser at the bottom. But I like how it's being controlled. I like the lighting. It looks very nice. Oh, and it works already. So this was a test or a default template, I guess I installed. Yeah, you guys will find it. So yeah, I'm so impressed I do it twice. Okay, we create a first entity, which is a cube. I know, very exciting. But this is my first kind of entity I'm creating. So I just go with the flow. I do struggle around a bit, and I find there's a lot of stuff in the hierarchy. I'm not sure how to organize them. Oh, and yeah, I delete some stuff in my at first, which eventually later comes to haunt me because now I don't have lighting for my scene at all, and the box is black. Okay, yeah, so I start from scratch and make another second first project. Then we launch into code eventually, and I learned to write some code in C#, my very first ever C# code. I find that it's very similar to verse, where we also have using, but from there on it gets a little different. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, as you can see, I am just following the tutorials by Sand King at this point. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just hoping for the best. And yeah, my first build is a fail. Okay, I think I wrote something wrong probably. It's usually probably a small spelling mistake or punctuation or something. Nope, that didn't work either. So I keep trying it over and over, and then eventually I find what I did wrong, implement that, and it works. Awesome. So I have now a blue cube, and my screen is all over the place. I'm not sure how to get it back. Yeah. I was testing it and it just went all okay. Okay, we're back. It's like the little toggle at the top there. All right. On day 2, I learned how to create this moving ball. It's one of the lessons as well. So if you are interested in those tutorials, I'll drop a link to the Sand King tutorials in the description. You can check them out there. So I do still struggle a bit with this 2-scene development. I don't usually do that. But it is a bit easier to see it in two screens, to be honest. And look at that, my ball is already rolling, so that is cool. So when you press the space bar, the ball is supposed to move. I messed up my camera a bit because I wanted to try out something different than the Sand King tutorials, but yeah, anyway, you know how it goes. Eventually it gets back. We also learn different stuff. Here is, I think, day 3, where we did this different cubes, and when the ball hits them, they're supposed to do something. React to it. Oh, it's collectibles, sorry. Yeah, we do collectibles with scoring system. And on day 3 already, I am super excited at what I'm seeing. Because if you're coming from UF and like me, you would know how long iteration time takes. I mean, it takes forever to test what you just did by launching the game in Fortnite and all of those things. But here, because of hot linking, you can test immediately. Okay, day 4, we learn how to import a custom character, how to put the materials on it. I play around with some characters I found thanks to K-Kit. There's a link in the description below as well if you want to support her. It's a free kit she has on itch.io. Very, very nice kit. We set up this little ranger with controller with different animations for death and final pose. And usually this would take you quite a bit of time in other game engines. But here it took me about 30 minutes and I was like, whoa, now I'm starting to see possibilities. So there is my character, my first ever custom character. I do, of course, mess up some stuff, and it takes some time to figure out what I did wrong. But anyway, it is day 4 only. And yes, I did mess up the cameras again. I don't know what it is with me and cameras. I always kind of mess them up and then I struggle. On day 5, we learn how to adapt the character controller and create some shooting projectiles, which are just some round balls in the beginning, but then we learn how to model a rectangular one and add some components to it. This is where I really get interested in S&Box because I start understanding here components and entities and absolutely love it. There's so much you can do. After some more code lessons from Sand King, I now have a projectile that works amazingly and I shoot it all over the place just to test it out, as you guys can see. Oh, awesome. All right, on day 5, I learned how to change the default S&B character out with a human character, as well as adding the clothing component to the player controller. Once this is done, we learn how to make NPCs follow the main character around. And later in the day, we work with adding collision to an NPC and how all of this works. And then I learn how to create a ragdoll effect when an NPC is eliminated. As you can see, my animation goes a bit crazy. But yeah, I leave it for now because I have no idea how to fix it yet. Next up, we learn how to code NPCs that follow a player, and I find this very cool because I can already see, you know, some pet games where a pet follows the owner, so this is very cool to learn. We also do some citizen animations and a whole bunch of other stuff, which I forgot the names already, but yeah, you can see it on screen. On day 6, we go over quite a lot of lessons. I wanted to finish this whole course in 7 days. On day 6, we do everything from nav meshes, how to use the modeling mode and gray boxing tools, materials, how to deform models, how to import S&Box cloud assets directly into the browser, setting collisions for these components and whatever you want, importing custom materials, importing custom models, and how to set these up with S&Box. And then on day 7, I learned how to create terrain as well as use the water tool, which is an add-on to create water in the world. At first it goes a bit wonky with the water. My player goes right through it and all kind of stuff, but eventually I figure it out, and as you can see, the player is now swimming nicely. The water looks murky underneath, so it's looking pretty cool. Foliage is next on my checklist, and that then concludes the 7-day lessons and my first 7 day in S&Box Game Engine. I'm not too confident with C# code yet, but I do see the possibilities of using S&Box Engine more and more going forward, especially how quickly it can be learned. So is it possible to learn S&Box in a week? Yes, it is possible. Now, can you make a game? Can I make a game in the next 3 weeks as per my challenge to make a S&Box game as well as 2 other games in 30 days? Well, I don't know. We'll have to see about that. This is only my first week in S&Box, so my next step would be to start a new game. So thank you very much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. If you didn't subscribe yet, subscribe for more videos. I am going to publish all the videos in this series and this challenge. So thank you for staying tuned. I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.